Well, howdy there. Welcome to this episode of the Jaw Harp Review, where today we'll be talking about the Grover Alto Austrian Jaw Harp. We'll also be hearing commentary from the phantom crickets that are somewhere in here. And we can hear them, but in a physical sense, I'm not even sure if they exist. They're a ghost. Anyways, let's take a look at this. This was a harp that I picked up locally. This was $8 at a local musical supply store. Let's look at this. It is of an Austrian design, has a red bit of paint or finish here, square frame with a bent trigger. Now for $8, I really don't expect a lot out of this. It is only an $8 harp, more in the area of a toy, but I thought since most of the time when you search Amazon.com, this is one of the things that pops up, and people should just know what to expect from a harp like this. Now it does have, the reed is crimped into place. When they crimped it, I'm pretty sure these are mass produced, especially because of the price. It's not flat, it's not level. When they crimped it, I don't know if it's just this one in particular or if it's all of them, it actually bent it up. It's bent like a U. There's quite a bit of distance in between the embouchure and reed, which would make it easier for beginners to learn how to play it, to be able to play it and not misstrike. Only downside of that is it may not make a whole lot of noise. Let's go ahead and give a listen. We'll hear the range. I'm going to start at the top, work my way down, try to see what type of range this has. Very, very small range this harp has, but it being only $8, you shouldn't expect a whole lot from it. It doesn't have a whole lot of noise coming out of this. It's very, very quiet. That could be a pro if you don't want to disturb others. If you wanted to give this to a younger kid, they could play it. They're not going to ruin your day by following you around making a whole bunch of noise. In that respect, that could be good. But if you're looking for a harp to make music with, this may not be the best choice. Also, it may not be the best gift for a child depending on their age, because that bent trigger, it's sharp, it can scratch, it's a sharper toy. So in the toy respect, it might be good for a kid if you're confident your kid can play it without hurting themselves. And if we take a look at this part of the frame, it's not very big. It's not really made for an adult's mouth. Let's look at some others here. This one has a pretty short frame here. Much shorter. We'll compare it to the Pavlopaken, much shorter. We're probably 3/8 of an inch shorter, which Pavlopaken is a smaller harp, but pretty comfortable for an adult's mouth. This is more cramped. Let's see if it has any responsivity to percussive noises. Let's give it some percussive noises. Not really much responsivity, being the fact that the reed and embouchure are very, very loose. We'll compare that to another toy. It's not really fair to compare this toy harp to some of our better, more musical harps, but we're going to go ahead and do that anyways. Let's compare it to, this is the harp, I got it from Hobby Lobby mouth harp, I think is how it came. I think it was $7, so pretty much in the same price range. Let's give a listen to it, starting at the top, working our way down. Quite a bit bigger range out of the Hobby Lobby mouth harp. Now, one con about the Hobby Lobby mouth harp is, and I've heard this complaint from a lot of people, is that this has an extremely stiff reed, and it does hurt your teeth a little bit if your teeth and your jaw and your mouth if you're not used to playing a harp, whereas this has a way more flexible reed. Let's give some inward and outward plucking, see if we can even pluck outward very well with this being it doesn't have a loop trigger or a solder ball. Let's see if we can get it moving. Let's play inward and outward, and we'll just see if we can set up a little jig here. It's not very responsive. I can get this going playing inward and outward. One thing I don't like about it is the bent trigger. A bent trigger isn't always a bad thing, but in the way that it's bent, it recurves in and then it's bent at an angle like that. It just, when you're playing it inward and outward, a lot of times I was missing it. I don't much care for the trigger here. But I don't expect a lot from this harp. It is only $8. I don't much care for the red paint on there either. Let's compare it in noise to a $20-some harp. This is a Lagai Chancellor. This would be a beginner harp, very good harp, one of my favorite harps. This is in the $20 range, whereas these are more in the $7 to $8 toy range. Let's give another listen to this, starting at the top, working our way down, and we'll compare it to the Lagai. Compared to the Lagai Chancellor. Quite a bit of difference at 3 times the price. And we'll look, let's compare the embouchures and reeds on these. This has a much tighter embouchure and reed, so it is going to be much more responsive. See the distance in between the Grover Alto and the Lagai Chancellor. This isn't a very fair comparison because we're comparing a harp, a toy harp, to an actual musical instrument. But I can't really give the Bebcorp seal of approval on this. Maybe it might be good if you're looking for a toy harp or you only want to spend $7, but once you get the basics of playing the jaw harp, I think that most people are going to become pretty bored with this relatively fast because it doesn't respond well. There isn't much music you can make with it. Not saying that this isn't a musical instrument, because technically everything's a musical instrument, but I can't give this harp the seal of approval. Now, I just thought that everybody should get a decent review of this so that if you see it on Amazon or on the internet or at your local music store, if you was going to buy it, you would know what you're getting into. Well, that's going to be it for the Jaw Harp review. Like, share, and subscribe for more harpery. Harp out.